Hello everybody, it's me, Bo Shevasu. Today is September 1st. It is 4:05 p.m. in the afternoon. I'm broadcasting live just south of Seattle, Washington, here in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. Let me know where you're tuning in from this glorious day. We have a fun show for you today. We will be talking about today's most popular reviews based off of science, metrics. Now, I have this unique ability to see which of my thousands of video reviews out there have had the opportunity to help the most people. And so I have trimmed through all of the analytics, and I am coming here today to present to you, my loyal fans, my customers, my materialistic minions, these top videos. Now, there's only 10, so this will be a fairly short broadcast today, but I want to hop right into these reviews after our bumper, a roll it. Isn't that just so professional? I'm just so happy about that. At some point, I'm actually going to break down some of the B-roll and the footage in that bumper. But what makes this broadcast unique compared to other influencer broadcasts out there? Not that they're not wonderful people. I know many of them. They're very sweet people. But what I attempt to do to differentiate myself and to bring you guys not only entertainment, but also information, this footage that you're about to see is footage of me out in the field, outside of the studio. As a matter of fact, the only footage that you are going to see of me not outside or not inside the studio featuring a product are these tactical hair clips right here. And that is simply because they're so small. And I can hold it up and I can say, see, this tactical hair clip disappears into your hair. It's perfectly safe on the hair. Now, granted, I don't really have long hair and I typically don't wear hair clips. Plus, I have the luxury of having pockets. So I have a pocket knife to open up all my Amazon packages. Retail therapy. But for many women out there, they don't have the ability to go to and from yoga in their yoga pants. And well, of course, it's going to be a little weird if you put a pocket knife in your yoga pants, but they have long hair and they wear hair clips. So why not combine the best of both worlds? It's a multi-tool in a hair clip. So if you want to be the next MacGyver, there you are at a birthday party and someone says, we can't get through some packaging. Does anybody have a pocket knife? All you got to do is reach up and go, oh, will you look at this? It's a raptor claw tip with a serrated edge. You can hold it like so, whoop, and it cuts right through packing tape. Incredible, isn't that? So that is going to be the only demonstration of a product inside my studio space, because I'm going to actually use an example. This bidet, you know what a bidet is? They're remarkable inventions. I'm not going to bring the camera into my bathroom and show you how the bidet works. There's a bunch of weirdos out there on the internet, and I'm not about to do that. However, I will show B-roll footage of footage edited together installing this on a perfectly clean toilet. Don't worry, this is not inappropriate footage. But in so doing, you are able to see how it's put together, how it works. I turn it on, I splash myself in the face, and you get to laugh at my expense. And so let's go ahead and check out, first of all, my most popular review as of the moment, simply because I nearly got scammed yesterday. Oh, pregnant pause as I sip my Mountain Dew. What do you mean by that, Bo? Well, contrary to popular belief, I do have friends. And one of these friends, his name is Obadiah Bible Boy. And sometimes he joins me on the bar. Oh, hello there. Oh, I think he sensed that he was about to be here. Hey, Bo, what's going on? Oh, I was just talking about you. You know, I was just reading you earlier this morning. Where was it? Was it 1 Corinthians? Something about love, right? Yeah, you wouldn't know anything about that. He's a sarcastic little puppet. Don't judge a book by its cover. But he does, in fact, actually have a heart of gold. However, he has a little snarky personality. Obadiah Bible Boy has been with me ever since college, where I got my degree in theater and theology. And he, every once in a while, joins us on the broadcast to make snarky comments. Now, what I was saying was this video right here is of, well, my wife getting in a car wreck. And if there is an Amazon Live moderator watching this right now, don't worry. No one was harmed in this footage. But what's beautiful about Amazon is they sell a lot of dash cameras on their wonderful website right here. And this one right here, the Z Edge Wi-Fi dash camera, the one highlighted right down below, you get to actually see footage of this in action, right? Right? You go and you search for a dash camera and you're like, ah, man, does it really actually work? Well, you be the judge. We're going to roll this in 3, 2, 1. Oh, this makes me wince every time. Oh, right there. Yikes. Hello, everybody. It's me. Wow, wow. Right. You heard the squealing of the tires. Amazing. So this dash camera recorded the entire incident. And what's beautiful about this is that when the police officer showed up and he asked and he said, so who's at fault? All you had to say was, it's on camera. Go ahead and check it out. And he is able to see with his own eyes. Granted, it was on a little screen, and later I uploaded it to a private YouTube link, and then I emailed him the actual footage to attach that link to the police report. But what's beautiful about having a dash camera is it keeps everybody on the road accountable. So my wife is going along here. I paused it. Don't worry, there's nothing wrong with your internet. I paused it right there so you can kind of see what's going on. And this young kid thought that he had a chance to dart in front of her, and he didn't, unfortunately. And what's amazing, if I were to play this, watch his Subaru. You can actually see it go up on 2 wheels. Oh, did you see that rock? Yeah, she hit him hard. Again, no one was injured. A EMT did show up. The cop did call him to have him show up just to check everybody out. But thankfully, no one was injured, and this kid is fine. As a matter of fact, I see him every once in a while around town, and he's a very nice kid. He felt very sheepish about this. But more times than not, you get in a car wreck and people start denying what happened. Initially, I have noticed you're all friends and you're like, oh man, is everybody okay? Yes, yeah, I think so. And then you're working together. And then all of a sudden it gets real when a police officer shows up. And all of a sudden the stories start changing. Did you notice this? You're like, well, I mean, I don't know what she was thinking. She was going over the speed limit. I would have had plenty of time if she wasn't speeding along this road. You know what I mean? And now you can simply say, hey, I've got everything on camera. I have a dash camera. Oh, and all of a sudden, everybody gets really honest. Isn't that just magnificent? I think that car insurance companies should give everybody a 50% discount for having a dash cam. I think they should, because it keeps everybody accountable, not just you as a driver, but other people as well. Right? Makes sense to me. Hey, give us a kickback, right? Yeah. So a dash camera, highly, highly recommended. If you don't buy this, that's okay. This one is very, very reasonably priced. As you can see, it's fantastic quality. As a matter of fact, if I were to back up a little bit right there, if you were to zoom in, you could probably even make out his license plate. Oh boy, it's a little choppy right there. That's me, not you. Oh boy, yeah, 2 guys right there. They're on their way to a concert. I felt kind of bad. I kind of ruined their day. I mean, they were clearly at fault, so I shouldn't feel too bad. But it's like, bro, you pulled out right in front of my wife. So thank goodness she was okay. But our car was totaled. It smashed in the entire engine, and his car would not even roll because his front right tire was all like smashed in, bent in. So a dash camera, get one, you guys. You will thank me in your first car wreck. You're going to be like, that crazy guy Bo on Amazon told us to get a dash camera and put it in our car. Thank goodness he did. And as a bonus, you can help other people on the road. It's not just to protect you. I have pulled over before perfectly safely. Don't worry, I'm not trying to be a looky-loo here, but I have witnessed other car wrecks. And I have pulled over, to offer my assistance, because you won't believe how many people don't pull over to offer assistance. They don't. Everybody's like, well, I have someplace to be. You don't understand. I need to be somewhere. That's the number one excuse that I hear when people get in a car wreck or don't want to help someone on the side of the road. Well, I need to be somewhere. Yeah. Why do you think I'm out driving? Just like for fun? As a luxury, as a pastime? No, I have to be somewhere too. But it is built within my faith to be sacrificial, even if that means giving up something that I treasure, like being somewhere on time or meeting someone. I will go out of my way to help someone else, even if it puts my life on the line, which is why I go to over 33 different countries around the world, filming for missionaries and nonprofits and churches. I'm trying to get into Ukraine. Shh. And my job is to be a filmmaker for these unheard people who are doing awesome stuff for God, for people. So that's, in case you're wondering what I do full time, is I run this nonprofit film studio. Isn't that a fun job? Been doing it for about 10 years. Really, really high stress because you get into some really sketchy situations, but that's built within my DNA. I figure Jesus has done a lot more for me. You know what? I can be uncomfortable on a 19-hour flight into Sierra Leone, West Africa, and be there for 2 weeks. I can manage, right? So anyway, not meaning to preach at you here. Point being, when you have a dash cam, you can pull over and offer that to people and say, look, I have this footage for you. Would it be helpful? And oh boy, I have helped so many people. And you don't have to stay for very long. You just say, give me your email addresses. I'll email the same link to everybody. You upload the video as a private link on YouTube so no one else can see it except for the people who click on that link. And then you just email it to people. And this does wonders for people when they go to their insurance company and they can just send them a video and say, here's what happened. Instead of getting a phone call, it's like, well, can you describe in your own words what happened? Just watch the video. It's all there, right? So it will save you so much time in the long run. Dash cams pay themselves off so many times over. Plus, you can assist other people. Isn't that just nice? So be one of those people who helps other people. Don't be selfish. I know you want to get somewhere. I know it's an inconvenience, but next time you witness a car wreck, pull over safely, obviously. If there's like a bunch of traffic somewhere around you, use your brain. You don't want to cause another car wreck. But especially if you are a nurse or a doctor, you know what? You won't believe how many people don't know how to do CPR. They don't. My wife and I, we witnessed a fatality about 30 seconds after it happened. And I just had something in my gut. I was like, something's not right. We need to pull over. Even though there's a bunch of people crowded around, we really easily could have just been like, yeah, see, there's obviously plenty of help. We'll just continue to move on. But there was just something that didn't sit right in me, which is called the Holy Spirit. And I said, Liz, my wife, I said, be prepared. I don't think this is going to be good. And we hopped out of the car. I got my trauma kit, which is a stop the bleed bag, which you can get on Amazon also. Maybe I'll review that at some point. Unfortunately, this person had already, I don't want to get too graphic on a live broadcast right here, but let's just say that this person had expired. And no one was doing CPR because they were like, oh no, don't touch the body. We could compromise her spine. I'm not a medical professional, but my wife is. And she was just like, she immediately started barking out orders like, who called 911? I did. Okay, you put pressure here. You do this, because no one was doing anything. This person was laying face down on the pavement. It's like, at that point, who cares if they're paralyzed? If they're not breathing and they're bleeding out, that's number one priority. We'll address the paralysis later. Get chest compressions on these people, you guys. Okay, so sorry for kind of ranting there, but it drives me crazy when people just emotionally shut down in a traumatic situation. All they're thinking about is themselves. It's like, so CPR, maybe get tuned up on that. You don't have to do mouth to mouth either. You just chest compressions. There's enough oxygen in the blood that by the time the EMTs show up, usually if you just circulate that, it keeps the brain going. Did you know that? Right? Some people are like, oh, I got to do mouth to mouth. Not necessarily. Just hit those chest compressions, right? Okay, so wow. Okay, there we go. You're learning all sorts of fascinating stuff on today's broadcast, aren't you? Now, I enjoy being fit. I do. I try. And oh, by the way, do you like my my shirt? Matter of fact, I'm going to make this a big screen right here so you can see my t-shirt in all its glory. Yes, it's a giant screen print of a mask. That's because I kept going into some establishments and Karens would yell at me and say, where is your face covering? And I'd say, right here. Just to watch their expressions. It was absolutely hilarious. So I know it's kind of dated, I guess, but I still wear it every once in a while because it's a comfortable shirt. You can get pretty much all these shirts printed on Amazon, and it's really quite fun. You can just upload a transparent PNG file, and they'll print it. This is just amazing. All right, so back to the reviews right here. This is really fun.
Anything like
this
me,
guy, is a dip machine. And you can kind of see in the upper right as I'm demonstrating this, it's very, very versatile. It's from Sports Royals. It's called the Power Tower, which sounds like a band from the 1970s. Pretty sure that's Tower of Power. Is that right? Yeah. Tower of Power. Anyway, this thing is wonderful because you don't necessarily need a lot of space in your home gym to make this thing work. The footprint is relatively small compared to how much you get out of it. So as you can see, I'm doing dips, I'm working my triceps, I'm doing pull-ups and working my biceps. I was doing push-ups down there, as you saw on those little handles right there. And it was a little rattly when I first was kind of messing with it. So maybe keep the little Allen key on hand in case it gets a little loose. All you do is just do a quick little spin and it is tightened up, no problem. So I wanted to show you guys that because this is one of my top sellers for some strange reason. Maybe people actually wanted to see what it looks like in an actual home gym. They didn't want to see a commercial and all these beautiful exotic people doing these impossible moves on there. I don't claim to be the most in shape kind of guy, although I am going to try to run a half marathon this Saturday. I'm getting it mixed up. Anyway, haven't done a lot of training, but that's why I have caffeine. So this Sports Royals dip machine is very versatile, and I would recommend it because it's one of those things that you don't necessarily limit yourself to one exercise. Think about this for a moment. If you have a treadmill, what can you do on a treadmill? Right? You walk, you jog, you run. That's pretty much it. If you have a spinner bike, which is just to the left, you can kind of barely see it. You work your quads and your calves, and that's pretty much it. So the beautiful thing about this machine is it's extremely versatile, and you can throw some extra weight on you. If you start pumping out all of these pull-ups, you're like, wow, this is really easy. Throw a weight belt on, and it is you just have a versatile smorgasbord of workouts that you can apply to this machine. Really cool. I appreciate this. Hey, let's move on to my top 3 selling product. And this was actually born out of a YouTube documentary that I watched. I know. Is it ever like late at night you go into these YouTube wormholes and all of a sudden you know all about the pyramids and whether or not aliens built them, right? Well, in this particular instance, I was watching burglars and robbers talk about how they break into homes. And one thing that really struck me was this guy said, I sometimes don't even go into the home. I just go out to their shed and I steal all their power tools. And then I go to a pawn shop and liquidate them. Isn't that interesting? Have you ever thought like, is your shed actually secure? Because think about it. Usually a shed is away from the house. It's dark. Usually your dog is either in the house or near the house if you have one. It's just low-hanging fruit. And so what I did is I got this doorbell chime. By the way, I've got a long beard right there. Bushy beard. That little white building out there, that's my shed. It's a long ways away from my house. And yet if I were to skip forward in this review, which by the way, you can watch this entire review on the link itself. So if you want more details, but this is just kind of a high level view of how this thing works. So what I'm holding right there is the receiver. You plug that into your house, and that's what emits the sound. You can choose from 30 or 40 different sounds. You can make it sound like a convenience store, that ding dong when someone opens the door out there. You can have a William Tell. You can do all sorts of annoying things, or pleasant chimes if you'd like. So that's the receiver. And then what triggers the receiver is, see on the left right there, those 2 little square white plastic blocks. One of them goes on the door frame and the other goes on the door. And so when you open the door, they disconnect. And that is what triggers that speaker on the right. And so every time someone goes into my shed, I hear in my house this little doorbell chime go off. Isn't that absolutely brilliant? Right? Now, granted, I have other things as well. It is a locked shed. There are lights everywhere. There are cameras all over my house because I am a videographer. And so I have other areas of redundancy. It's not just this chime that goes off. Plus, I'm an FFL. If you guys know what an FFL is, let's just say that I'm very well protected. So if I were to kind of skip ahead right there, that's what it looks like, just plugged into your wall, very unobtrusive. I also show how to pair this thing in my video. It's not intuitive at all. So if you go and you buy this thing, you're welcome for that video because it will save you a lot of time. The actual instructions are very broken if I were to try to be gracious to some overseas factories who attempt to communicate. So I show you how to pair this thing. So if we were to go ahead, so this is inside my shed right there. It was actually late at night and very cold. And you can see as it closes, it's about maybe 2 millimeters apart. And then if I were to skip ahead in the video, then see right there. So if you were to, and it can be fixed on with just double-sided tape, which is included. I used some screws to really make sure because I didn't care. It was a shed. I'm sure drill some holes in there. That's perfectly fine. But when you open that door, here we go. We're going to go 3, 2, 1, open. And so there we go. I'm going to push it and then it opens up. And right when it opens, it immediately chimes and it goes dee-doo inside our house. Isn't that amazing? Right. So if you have a shed or any kind of closet outside, I recommend putting an alarm on it somehow, even if it's just a pleasant little doorbell chime to alert you in the middle of the night if someone's trying to steal your power tools or your lawnmower, trying to make off with it, right? Especially if you don't have a dog to alarm you. Cool, huh? Yeah, hey, speaking of dogs and cats, let's actually look at these. Oh, wait, there's me, I'm talking. So let's go ahead and listen to me. I need to take a cat person. They're adorable little personalities and they're very cute. Now, I have heard that a cat will go out there and adopt other people who feed them better. Yes, we do feed our cats. They're very, very nutritious food, but there are some people out there who feed them. And so, yes, they don't get lost. They don't get eaten by coyotes. I know that's a popular thing to say, but odds are my cats are out there adopting other people. And so it's very, very helpful to actually put a tag on them of some. I actually want to talk about that real quickly. Have you heard that instance where people say, oh yeah, Miss Flu got eaten by a coyote? I remember listening to a broadcast a long time ago and someone was interviewing a pet detective. Yes, they exist, as in Ace Ventura pet detective. And that was one of the myths that she talked about on this broadcast. She said, most people try to justify Fluffy as getting, eaten by a coyote. And unless you live in the middle of Wyoming or Montana, they probably didn't. They probably just adopted someone else who is feeding them better. And that's really hard for pet owners to admit that their animal probably willingly left them for some fancy feast a mile away. But she said in her career, when she's hired to go track down some pets, they're usually within a mile. And she finds them and there they are, all fat and happy. Yeah, so anyway, next time you hear someone says, oh yeah, Miss Frizzles got eaten by a coyote. They probably didn't. I'm sorry, Mrs. Frizzles probably left you for someone that they love better. Oh, I hope mine don't. So we have 3 cats. They have adorable personalities. And these, as a matter of fact, if you were to look closely, it says Lippy. He's very cute. He's a black and white tuxedo cat, and he's got a little white mark under his nose, hence why his name is Lippy. And what's nice about these little personalized metal badges, these tags, they're very, very reasonably priced here on Amazon. And if you were to look down below, you're going to look at that price and be like, how are they actually making money off of this? And I have sold some things on Amazon before, and I don't know how they're making money. I think they're probably losing money at this point just to probably increase their ranking or maybe get more exposure to their product. I don't know, but it's dirt cheap to get customized tags and put your phone number on there. Maybe say something like do not feed, something like that on these little aluminum tags. And you can see that our address is on there. There's Lippy, there's Polly. I don't know why they put quotes on there. It kind of bothers me. Like Lippy or Polly. It's kind of a misuse of quotes. And honestly, I can't remember if we actually put the quotes in there. But there you go. Oh, hey, look at those. They're tactical hair clips. I've been using these forever. Wow. It's almost as if they're life-changing. Yeah, you can also see those down below in the carousel. But we're not here to gush about tactical hair clips. There you go. They're printed on one side. You can kind of see that they're sort of spilling over. But we put our email on there and phone number and then also our address. And hopefully, if someone were to find our little felines out there, they'll be like, oh, this isn't a stray. This is a very well-fed, fat and sassy little Lippy and Polly. They're adorable creatures. So incredibly reasonably priced. I highly recommend that you check this out because if you don't, you will feel sorry when little Fizzles goes and you're missing her and you're like, man, I should have put a tag on her. You should have. You should have. Okay, hey, let's move on to a self-defense little thing here because I do teach self-defense. As a matter of fact, yesterday, my reputation was just being called into question because people weren't sure whether or not I was being safe for helping a stranger on the side of the road. And they basically said, that's bad. You should always stay within your car. And if I was by myself on an isolated road in the middle of the night, I'd stay in my car. But this was on the side of the highway, and I was assisting someone. Turns out he was a scammer. He offered me some gold jewelry. It wasn't really gold. Immediately rolled up the window, said, have a nice day. I was out of there. So if you actually look on my Facebook, which at the end of this broadcast, I'll put my name right there, Bo Shevasu. I'm the only Bo Shevasu out there. Well, what in the world is wrong with my subtitles? Boat Havasu? Come on, it's Bo Shevasu. Is it going to do it correctly? No, it says Bo Shiva Su. Shiva? That's like a Hindu god. No. What if I said it phonetically? Bu Chivasis. Let's see if the subtitles get it. And no, not even. Anyway, Bo Shevasu. Go ahead and look me up and you'll see this video that's going viral on my Facebook of this scammer who, he was on my dash cam. I had my dash cam going and he tried to say that he was low on gas and offer me gold jewelry because he was so desperate. If someone ever asks for gasoline and then offers gold jewelry, it's a gang. They're trying to manipulate you, especially if they have a kid nearby. They usually have their children very close by to really try to manipulate emotions. And you may think, well, what's the harm in that? They get a lot of elderly people, and it's really sad. So these people make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year pulling these scams, being on the side of the road, playing accordions or violins that are fake. It looks like they're playing when in reality it's just pre-recorded music. It's somebody else's song. And they're playing something like that Hallelujah song. Remember that Hallelujah song from Shrek? So powerful. And they're playing it on their accordion, and they usually have a sign that says, oh, God bless, I'm homeless, and all of these things that are supposed to evoke your emotions, and usually their child is sitting there too. And you see people just come up and give them $100 every 15 minutes. It's just mind-boggling how these scams work. Go ahead and look that up. Fake violin or fake accordion player, or next time you see one on the street, guarantee you they're not actually a real busker. Believe me, I have done real busking in Seattle at Pike Place Market, and they're actually real talent. And you can tell when they're actually playing. Like this little guy with a little piano, and he would play all the time at Pike Place Market. Incredible. He was clearly not playing over a speaker that was playing pre-recorded music. So kind of becomes personal when you've done busking and you see real people out there being talented, and then you get someone who's trying to scam other people. Where was I before this tangent? Oh, see, it's both entertaining and educational. So this alarm is fantastic, and I'm going to demonstrate it for you because it's really loud. Amazon.com. Today we are going to be testing this ear-splitting alarm with our little cat Chocolate. I'm not going to test the alarm on our little cat Chocolate. Oh, Chocolate, she's so adorable. Oh, she was just a little kitten back then. Oh. Hey, let's continue. Chocolate is just such a soft little... No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not some kind of monster. Let's go ahead and pull this guy. Now, do keep in mind, this actually takes quite a bit of force to pull this out. So if I were to just kind of wag it, kind of like this, let's say it's on some keychains, it's not going to pop out. It's not like this is magnetic or anything. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. I turned it down, by the way, so that it, volume warning. You're welcome. It's about 130 decibels, pretty loud. About as loud as a smoke detector going off. And so when you pull this thing, it immediately draws attention to your location. Now, I do teach self-defense and mixed martial arts. And so one of the things that we encourage our students to look out for is, first of all, manage the distance. If you manage the distance, you manage the damage. And so there are some self-defense toys out there that assume that you would feel comfortable getting really close to your opponent, like knuckles or something. So you can start, or you hold the keys between your fingers, which is a myth. Don't do that. You'll break your fingers. But I feel like Wolverine. That's a silly thing. Well, I'm going to kick him between the legs. That's a myth also. It's just going to make him mad. But believe me, as a guy, if I have enough adrenaline and if I'm angry enough and if someone kicks me between the legs, I will continue operating despite the pain. So that's a myth also. However, the cool thing about this alarm is that it calls attention to you. Many years ago, there was a study, not a study, it was actually a real incident. It churned out tons of studies for people and scientists to try to figure out what happened. But this gal was taken advantage of. I won't get too graphic here, but I think it was New York City, and she was screaming, "Help, help." And people heard her and no one came to help her because they all assumed that someone else was going to be helping her. Isn't that sad? So in this particular instance, this is a unique enough sound. It clearly sounds like an alarm going off, this high-pitched squeal, this chirp that is just deafening. And this really gets people's attention. And bad guys, I like to describe bad guys like cockroaches. They don't want to be seen. They want to operate when it's dark. They want to take advantage of someone when they're alone. They're not going to do it in the middle of the grocery store. No, they're going to do it out in the parking lot when you're putting your groceries away and you're all alone. They come up and they ask for the time. Something like that. It's a classic thing for self-defense instructors to overuse the term, someone comes up to you on the street. If you've taken martial arts before, you've probably heard that 1,000 times. And it's this Napoleon Dynamite complex where they say, well, yeah, so someone comes up to you on the street, just starts, hitting you. The odds that that's going to happen are slim to none. I know there's security footage out there of gang members sucker punching other people, and that is literally someone walking up to you on the street. But odds are you're not going to be accosted on the street. You're going to be isolated. You're going to be alone. They don't want you to be noticed. And at that point, the bad guy will try to take advantage of you. So this is just one of those tools to call attention to yourself, especially if you are not comfortable with certain tools that go bang, bang. Or if you have a pepper spray, which will work. I'm actually going to get to that review in just a moment. Or a stun baton. Ooh, stun batons. Matter of fact, I've tested the top 5 stun batons here on Amazon on myself. And we're actually going to play one of those videos in just a moment. You get to watch me be in pain. Do they really work? Ooh, that is the question. So as far as this goes, I would give it maybe a 3 or 4 out of 5 stars, simply because I don't think it's my number one method of defending myself, because it really assumes that other people will be close enough to hear this alarm, and it assumes that other people will come towards the alarm for assistance. So, it might scare away the bad guy if the bad guy has a good frame of mind, but let's be honest, if someone is attacking you in the first place, they probably aren't all there in the first place. Does that make sense? Like, the odds that a sober person is going to attack you are very rare compared to someone who's high on something, who needs some money for a quick fix. They're probably not reasoning correctly. So therefore, you need some pretty blunt force to stop that opponent. An alarm really assumes that the person is like, oh no, there's an alarm. I don't want to be noticed. So is it worth dangling off your purse? I think it is, as long as it's quickly accessible. Is it the thing that you should be relying on for self-defense? Absolutely not. Go take some classes, get some pepper spray, get trained on something that goes pew pew. if you know what I mean. Can't say anything here on Amazon Live or else they're going to, yeah. So anyway, this is great. This is fantastic. I appreciate their innovativeness, and this alarm is certainly very, very loud. The only thing is you can put that slot back in. See that little D-ring on the far left? You saw at the beginning of this video when I kind of pulled it. You can put it back. So if a bad guy has the wherewithal to pick this up out of your hand and maybe step on it or put it in his palm, it gets pretty quiet. So maybe when you pull this, throw it into some bushes so it's hard to find. You know what I mean? So this is an alarm that works for some people and doesn't work for others. And before we get into the stun gun, I want to actually show you some Goo Gone. Goo Gone? Oh, what is this? I am simply going based off of science, based off of metrics. What were my most popular videos as of within the last 24 hours? And this, for some reason, everybody has their barbecues and maybe they've used them all summer and now they need to clean them. So here I am out on my deck and I show a side-by-side comparison. The left side is going to be the control and the right side I'm going to be spraying with this Goo Gone stuff. Now, these are cast iron grills, meaning that you probably shouldn't be soaking them in hot soapy water because then it strips off all the seasoning. Plus, then your meat is going to taste like soap. But this stuff is wonderful because, well, first of all, you want to remove the grates from the barbecue. You don't actually want to be spraying this on the barbecue. Otherwise, these chemicals get within the flames. And then at that point, there will be burgers that taste like citrus Goo Gone. Hey, there's my friend. Hey, what's up? It's John, right? Is that right? I remember your name was John. You're from Maryland, right? I think that's right. Nice to see you, man. Nice to see you. So, John, you've probably seen this one before, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but I am going to be jumping ahead to me getting hit with a stun baton. So just you wait. If you're a fan of slapstick humor and want to see Bo suffer, oh, you will see me suffer. So there you go. I spray this on there and wait for about 2 to 3 minutes. And then as we skip forward, I get a paper towel and I start to scrub my grill. And I was surprised how well it did come off. This Goo Gone stuff is absolutely magnificent. We actually had some graffiti outside of our house when we first moved here because the previous tenants were not the most upstanding of citizens. And I used some Goo Gone, nearly almost like this identical stuff. It even smelled the same. And incredibly, the spray paint came right off of this little unit. You know what they put internet and telephone wires in? They're like these little green boxes, at least here in Washington State. Well, the Goo Gone took the graffiti right off. So Goo Gone is absolutely amazing. I have it highlighted right down there in the carousel. And then, of course, you're probably wondering, but Bo, what happens to the control? So I took the same, well, not same, but a different paper towel, and I went and I scrubbed it, and you'll see for yourself. I scrub, and at first it looks like it's coming off, but those are just the big parts. It turns out that this effectively turned into sandpaper, and it ripped my paper towel to shreds, and then my paper towel was, it was all over the grill. So then it had to burn off. Now, actually, I went at the left side also with my Goo Gone because it worked so well. So this Goo Gone stuff is, it does work. It's kind of weird if you follow the instructions because they say, put your grill on a newspaper. I don't know when the last time I had a newspaper, but I have lots of Amazon boxes. And it's definitely not no suffering. Oh, just you wait. There will be pain. It's a lot of fun. Stun guns are fun. So anyway, this stuff is just absolutely magnificent for cleaning your grill if in fact you have a barbecue, but I'm not here to oversell you on anything. I just like to show you a side-by-side of what works for me and it might work for you also. Okay, Saber pepper spray. Now I'm not gonna actually pepper spray it myself because that actually takes a really long time to go away, but I am going to show you this. Check it out.
Hello, Amazon.com. It is me, Bo.
Let's watch that again, shall we? Okay. I know, I kind of sound like a Muppet here.
Hello, Amazon.com.
Amazing. Let's go ahead and watch this, okay?
Hello, Amazon.com. It is me, Bo Shevisu. Today, we are going to be testing 2 items that actually come in the same pack here on Amazon. We've got the stun baton and pepper spray. 2. Okay, so we are here with Gigi. We actually teach and train self-defense, and so she's very familiar with grappling. However, today she is going to show how to use this stun baton on her uncle, me, yours truly, Bo Shevisu. I really don't like doing this. Already my palms are sweaty because it's not pleasant at all. But I put my life on the line so that you don't have to. Now, first of all, to engage this, she's gonna push the button up to turn the flashlight on. You see that? So you would use that mode, let's say if you were walking your dog. Let's say someone jumped out of the bushes. Then she pushes it all the way forward. See that red light? That's an indicator that it's actually armed. All she has to do is push. Oh, this is where it gets real, guys. Okay, so she's gonna push it and then pop it right on my arm. Here we go. So what it feels like is like you have a whole bunch of little needles that just stabs into your arm and your arm seizes up. Something to keep in mind, it's the noise that gets to you psychologically. So for a reasonable person, go ahead and do it again there. For a reasonable person, that freaks you out. However, how many reasonable people are most likely going to be attacking you? Do you know what I mean? So for that, I would recommend the mace because that allows you to keep your distance. You don't want to get super close to someone. Even if they have something like this, if they're crazy, they're gonna push through this and it might even kick the hornet's nest and make them more angry. Firearm or mace allows you to keep that distance. However, if you need something in your hand, sure, why not get this?
All right, so then I continue on to the second part of my review here where I actually test some of this mace, this pepper spray. I don't actually test it on myself. I wanted to do a distance test because some of these things do show up in the mail and there's not a lot of pressure in them. Now, I am a big fan of pepper spray if, in fact, you don't have the ability to train with something that goes pew, pew. So pepper spray is good because it forces you to have distance between you and an opponent, as opposed to what you saw at the beginning of this video with my niece Gigi. She had to get close to me in order to deploy the stun baton. So there's a lot of people out there who say, well, I have this thing in my purse. I wouldn't recommend this for self-defense. I really wouldn't. I know it's right here in my carousel and it's a really decent price if you can quickly access it. Let's say if it's in your glove box, but if it's buried in your purse, you're not going to be able to get at this thing. Maybe if you carry it when you're walking your dog, that makes a lot of sense. But those little sparks and when it goes bzzz, it bothers people, but it doesn't really stop a crazy bad guy as opposed to what mace would do, which really swells up your eyes. And someone actually said yesterday, it melts the eyeballs. It doesn't really, it just stings. It's basically just hot sauce. So I would recommend this package, but mainly for the pepper spray. Okay. So let's go ahead and, there's me and there's my brother-in-law right there. Let's take a quick look at this.
For the most amount of people, because you can keep that distance, it lingers in the air. As a matter of fact, after we stopped filming, I was coughing a little bit. The residual was still in that environment. So be very, very mindful that the mace, it's powerful. So go out, get the pepper spray, go out, get some real world self-defense training. And if you can afford to train with firearms,
absolutely. Okay, so there you go. This thing is a unique kind of pepper spray because you can see with my thumb right there, it's got this cap over that's spring-loaded, meaning that it won't actually go off and deploy if you just accidentally slap the top. Almost as if it's a can of spray paint where you just push the top and it goes tss. It's not like that. You need to slip your thumb underneath that cap in order to access the button. So that makes a lot of sense. That is a brilliant, brilliant design. There's some old pepper spray models out there, and if a little kid gets a hold of it, they're just like, what's this? And it's really easy to push. But this is a really, really brilliant idea. I do have another video, which I will show at some point, where I actually compare and contrast the top 5 stun batons. This was just one of them. And let's watch my brother-in-law get hit. My friend Tom was really chill to my niece Gigi right there. Oh, that's me getting, yeah, it just went, she was like, it's annoying. If you really hold it on, oh boy, feels like a bunch of hornets stinging you. But it's a pain that goes away almost instantaneously, as opposed to mace, that lingers for a long time. Right. You know, especially in the entire environment. So if you are in an enclosed space, someone's carjacking you, just spray it around your car. I know you're probably going to ruin your car at that point, but they won't be able to see. They're going to be like, I'm crying. So yeah, stun baton, it's psychological, and they're sold all over Amazon, but probably not my number one form of self-defense. From a self-defense instructor who's been doing this for 10 years. I mean, not meaning to pull the anecdotal card right here. Rudolph! Is that how you pronounce that? Rudolph. Wait a sec, there's a PB in there. I have no idea how that's pronounced. All right. Thank you, sir, for the follow. I don't know if you are a sir. Hope I don't offend you, but I just wanted to say thank you. Gratitude's important. Hey, let's move on to LED light installation. This is a really cool chandelier because it's so modern looking. I actually uninstalled this thing because I found another even more modern one. So I'm actually in my office right here. But I used this for a really long time because it slipped into my my existing socket quite nicely. All you need is your red and your black. And I hooked it up with some ground wires and it just lit up absolutely beautifully. The downside to this thing is that it pauses for about a half a second when you go to turn it on. If you leave it on all day, it's not going to bother you. But if you're going in and out of a room, let's say your laundry room, for example, and you're always turning the light switch on and off, it might actually bother you because there's that slight delay, just ever so slight delay. But it does come in several different pieces like this. If you do actually want to see how the instructions, how I put this thing together, I think that's why this is one of my more helpful videos, because I walk through the instructions, how to put this thing together, as opposed to trying to rely off of these instructions written by someone from an overseas factory who does not speak English very well. And I don't mean that in a shaming sort of way. I actually have mad respect for people who can speak multiple languages. I can only speak one. But if you are putting a multi-million-dollar Amazon listing on the internet, you might want to spend $100 and just send your listing to a college student and be like, hey, give you $100 over PayPal if you will proofread our listing. You know, or proofread our instructions for putting this thing together before we send this out to hundreds, if not thousands of people. It just seems to make sense to me. I don't know. But again, that's why I made this video, to actually show people how this thing is put together. Isn't that cool? That's really neat, huh? Almost looks like space agey. Yeah, so these little circle LED lights kind of fit on top of each other like layers. And it's just so wicked looking. Yeah. And then all those little things plug right into there. And then you can see the 2 wires, and they just plug right into your black and your white wires right up there. Cool, huh? There we go. Oh, I just love that thing. It's just such a neat light, except for the delay. There's a slight delay. Bothers my soul. Probably won't bother you, but maybe I'm just uptight. Hey, also, I have
It
this
works.
right
However,
here.
there's some vital hints, tips, and tricks that I need to pass on to you guys.
Before you even start this video, before I show you the demonstration of how this goes together, you need to practice, because I was going through this with my kids. I was surprised to find a few things that they couldn't quite do, like pop out the screen or even unlock the window. It's a heavy window. Or this is a surprise, due to the design of this thing, once it's in position, look at this. See this gray tab? You have to pull that, which deploys that ladder, unfolding it all the way down like an accordion. However, I can reach it. I'm an adult. But for a kid, Penny, who's 6 years old, she couldn't reach it. Lucy could barely even grab it like this, even while standing on her sister's back to try to access that. So guys, this may not actually work for some people. I almost wish that the design, they made it a little shorter, like up here, so that the kids could actually grab that deployment rip tab and pull it, instead of all the way down here. They're doing this and they can't quite grab it. Their arms are just too short. So I hope they do some design changes here. Hello Amazon.com, it's me, Bo Shevisu, coming to you today with a cat that's fleeing the room because they sense that there's flames, there's fires in the house. So first of all, what you need to do is drill, drill, drill. If you expect your kids just to pick this up and remember how to use it, they probably won't.
So these are my daughters who are demonstrating this fire ladder right here. And again, this is one of my top sellers, which I don't know why, because I really am brutally honest in this video. As you saw, I was kind of making fun of the fact that kids can't deploy this thing very easily. Now, maybe if you have like a teenager or a middle schooler who's gangly enough to actually reach these things and reach that pull tab to deploy this thing, it makes a lot of sense. But I noticed that there were a lot of commercials for this thing, but no real actual demonstrations of this. And so I bought this thing. I tried to put it back together. It doesn't really go back together very well. So it's just sitting in my garage right now, waiting to use it in probably a tree house of some kind. But all of our rooms in our house have multiple exit points. So we're not really bottlenecked in the event of a fire, but there are some people out there who have an isolated room in their house, or they're way up in the attic. And so they might need something like this to deploy to get out in the event of a fire. So is it worth the price? That's up to you. It really does depend. Remember, it's a single time use type thing, kind of like a fire extinguisher. So if you think that you're going to be able to drill with this thing, which is very, very important, you're going to have a pretty hard time trying to fold everything back in order. And it comes compact, almost like a parachute. And they say this is a one-time use thing. Honestly, you could, you could actually use this thing. These ladders should be mandatory in small apartment buildings. That's an interesting point. They really should be. I wonder, especially if you don't have a fire escape. Although in this day and age, unless it's a really old apartment building, most apartment buildings have fire escapes. I mean, even the really old ones like in New York City, they have fire escapes. But yeah, the old houses, I hear you, especially growing up. We grew up in a house that was built in 1907, 1909, something like that. And those old houses really section off rooms. And so for us, we had a ladder similar to this. It wasn't as nice as the design as this one. But as you can see, we're playing with this right off the back of our deck, and you swing quite a bit because... oh, there goes Strawberry again, trying to get out the window. But when it's right up against the house, it doesn't swing as much, and it's much easier to actually climb down. But I didn't really want to do that too much because we just got nice hardy board siding on the side of our house. I don't want to rip it up. My wife would have been kind of mad. So there you go. There's the fire escape ladder. Isn't that interesting? Right. Okay, now we're going to go to our second to the last review right here. This is a bidet. No, I will not demonstrate it for you because some of you are a bunch of weirdos out there, but I will show you this absolutely life-changing device.
Totally opens that up right there. Ah, it got me. Hello, little minions. It's me, Bo Shevisu. If you have ever experienced a bidet before, they're magical. You feel so refreshed after your time on the throne. So this is a quick, fast-paced, down and dirty tutorial on how you...
I say it's a quick, fast-paced, down and dirty tutorial. Don't worry, it's not dirty. This is a very, very clean toilet. Okay, so what this bidet does is it essentially plugs into your existing water system. And you can clean yourself in a very refreshing fashion, which I learned about these things when we were volunteering on the Syrian border in Jordan. Everywhere in this complex, they had these things, which you wouldn't think that they would have these devices on all the toilets in this compound because you're in the middle of the desert. And if you've ever been to the Jordan desert, there's not a lot of water. Here they are using water to clean themselves. in actuality, it's much more convenient and conducive and better for the sewage pipes in these countries to use stuff like this instead of toilet paper, because toilet paper, you can't flush anyway. That's how I define whether or not something is a first world, second world, or third world country, according to my own little box, having traveled all over the world. If you can flush toilet paper, you live in a first world country. Right on. If you can't flush toilet paper, you're in a second world country. If you don't even have a sit-down toilet and it's just a hole in the ground, that's a third world country. I've been to a lot of those countries, a lot. Matter of fact, I remember in Togo, West Africa, small little sliver of a country. I remember waking up one morning and there were army ants all over our compound. And they were like coming out of the hole in the ground where you go out and you do your business. And if you've ever seen army ants before, they are nuts, absolutely nuts. You can stand on the edge of the jungle with your eyes closed and just listen, and you can hear them moving through the undergrowth of the jungle, just destroying everything in their way. It's wild. I have never seen ants before work together to build a ladder to scale a 2-foot span and to get across from point A to point B. They build tunnels using their own bodies. Yeah, army ants, crazy. So that morning when I was doing some mission work there, because I love Jesus, I woke up to this lady running into my room with a flaming piece of cloth, and she was screaming and trying to kill something on the floor. And they were army ants. They were just everywhere. So I didn't get bitten or anything like that. But if you've got a little kid in those countries and if they fall into a nest or something, bad things can happen. So there are some rough environments in the world that I've experienced. And God bless the people who are able to thrive in those environments. So army ants, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, talking about toilets. Bidets, they're so refreshing. So this is, and I'm 57, insects are amazing. Insects are amazing, you're right. You're 57, right on, man. So a bidet is pretty darn cool because you simply detach your existing pipe here that typically fills up your tank. And there's Strawberry. She's making a cameo appearance. She has a sweet little personality. And so what you're doing is you are, by the way, your internet is not choppy. I'm specifically fast forwarding through this right here. So you basically install this thing in the line of your existing clean water supply. And you can see that I'm dialing it in on the left right there. And then the bidet gently sprays your little tushy and gets you nice and clean. And all you need is 1 square of toilet paper to dry yourself and you're done. It's absolutely life-changing. At first, it's really weird and you're like, I don't know if I'm going to get used to this. Believe me, every toilet in our household now has a bidet installed. As a matter of fact, I'm going to share with you guys something right here because I wish someone had told me this. This bidet right here that I have highlighted in the carousel down below, there's a lot of pressure. And if you're not really careful with the dial, that pressure can just be a fire hose on your tushy. And let's just be honest, it's not the most comfortable of things. So this one that I have highlighted down below is much better. It just lets out a soft little refreshing trickle and highly, highly recommended. I'm surprised that this one that I have highlighted doesn't actually sell more than this one because I've reviewed both of them and I recommend this one that I'm highlighting. Even though this one that you see on the screen in front of you has sold more, doesn't necessarily mean it's a better product. As a matter of fact, it's cheaper. Yeah, it's $5 cheaper. The one that I have highlighted down below. It's a little push button one. Just go boop. And the flow is just much more pleasant. It's not like this fire hose. You're like, whoa. Yeah, but bidets, they are so amazing. And they will probably pay themselves off multiple times over because you're not having to actually purchase toilet paper. And if you've ever calculated out toilet paper, you're literally flushing something that you bought down the toilet. You're flushing lots of stuff down the toilet. But you get my point. You know, if you can cut that cost at some point, and instead of several wipes, now you just do one just to dry yourself, that's amazing. So whoever invented this thing, absolutely brilliant because you can retrofit it and put it on your existing toilet seat. Amazing. Hey, let's move on to one of my very last life-changing appliances right here. This I use to actually put my phone in my car. And let's take a listen.
2006, and I've got this little cell phone holder right here. Now, my main concern was whether or not it would actually hold a thick enough cell phone case. So I got a cell phone case. It's actually a wallet case. I've got 3.
By the way, I still have this style wallet case. It's from Smartish, I think. I love wallet cases. It forces me to be a minimalist, so I'm not walking around like George Costanza with a giant fat wad wallet in my back pocket that I have to remove every time that I sit down or go driving somewhere. So a wallet case is great because it forces you not to pack around your receipts and a bunch of unnecessary cash. Just be minimalist. So this wallet case right there, I wanted to see if it fits in there, and it does. So this iPhone holder is rather remarkable because all you need to do is peel off the bottom and it's kind of sticky, and then you just slap it right there on your dashboard. It's as easy as that. What's nice about this is that it keeps your phone out of your field of view, meaning that most cell phone holders attach to the inside of your windshield, and that takes up real estate. When you're driving, you want to see as much of the road as possible. And so this effectively gets your phone down and out of the way, but you can still see it. It's usually, unless you're really short, usually it's not getting in the way of your field of view and your vision. Plus, it's stable. I've tested a lot of iPhone holders out there that attach to the vents, and those vents move. And let's be honest, sometimes you want to adjust a vent because maybe there's air blowing on you, or you want to adjust it in a sort of way so it defrosts the windshield. And I don't want to take up a vent with my phone to be clipped there. This doesn't do that. This effectively sits right there on your dashboard. I originally saw this in a taxi cab or an Uber driver or someone like that, and I was blown away because they had their cable snaked up there. See, you can actually see sort of in front there are these little notches, and those hold the cable, and it's very, very convenient. And I have had this thing on my car for several years. As a matter of fact, the iPhone case that I'm demonstrating this with, I think the iPhone is like an iPhone 6S. So it's several generations ago, and yet this iPhone or smartphone holder is absolutely magnificent, and it is still cooking. Still works. Been through multiple summers of scorching heat, just baking our dashboard of our car, and it's still working. Amazing, right? Yeah. So there you go, everybody. Lastly, I do want to finish with our tactical hair clips right there. And these are a life-changing hair clips that I like to put either in my beard or in my hair. No, I don't do that, but my wife does because she has long hair and she keeps these multi-tool hair clips out of her hair. And yes, I am pleased to announce that the tactical hair clips are endorsed by Obadiah Bible Boy. Isn't that right, Obadiah? Oh, wait. Oh, there you are. Yeah, Bo. It's me, Obadiah Bible Boy. Just wanted to say that Jesus loves you and you're a sinner. Thank you, Obadiah. That was very, very upfront. I guess he does speak the truth. Yeah, the truth hurts, huh? Yes, the truth does hurt. Yes, thank you, Obadiah. But remember, that is important because I do want you guys to know that you are special. You are made special. You're not perfect. I'm real sorry about that. I'm going to break the news to you right now. I don't agree with everything that you do. Shame on you. What kind of broadcast is this? Boy, I'm feeling really judged right now. No. I do care for you, which is why I do these broadcasts. And I do hope that you know that you are important and that if you're a Christian, you go nowhere by accident. Wherever you go, God is sending you. Wherever you are, God has placed you there. Isn't that cool? So you can go about life in peace, freedom, knowing that you are supposed to be there. Pretty cool, huh? So that's it. You are special. I'm glad that you are here. God loves you, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your Thursday, September 1st. It's me, Bo Shevasu, live from, boy, we are still live, aren't we? Isn't this amazing that we can do stuff like this? You know, normally I would just edit this to death just to make this really boring, but instead you get my personality right there. Yes, so, oh, by the way, before I end, the swords right here behind me, and everything. I've got them from countries all around the world because I do a nonprofit film studio and I go all over the world filming for other nonprofits. I film for missionaries, churches, you name it. And so, for example, this guy right here, this is a Gorkha knife, and this is from Nepal. I got it in the middle of Nepal. They use these for everything. They use these for kitchen knives. They use them for self-defense. And isn't that cool? I have a magnet on my wall, and so I can just use this and put it up there. Isn't that awesome? Right. So that explains all the swords and machetes around me, surrounding me. I have a lot of them everywhere, and I just need to be aware in the event of an earthquake, I need to move away quickly from the wall. Otherwise, you'll see something live bad happen to me. There we go. Love this so much. And by the way, the whole time I was in compliance because I was wearing my mask. Yeah. Isn't that ridiculous? All right, that's it, everybody. All right, you are special, and love you all. All right, see you later.